Alright, Shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites, and that consists of you so-called Negroes, Haitians, Jamaicans, Latino, Native American Indians, and Mexicans. We are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible, God's chosen people. And I want to do the lesson centered around, the so-called white man being the devil, being the bloody man. Going back to this whole Thanksgiving thing, these wicked holidays that our people still caught up in, they don't really understand what they doing when they celebrate these holidays, because it go back to wickedness. Our people don't do their research, they don't do their history of what these holidays go back to. And that's why they'll be judged, because they partaking in wickedness of the so-called white man. So I got a video I want to play. I'm going to use this copyright disclaimer, because I'm going to play the video. It's not for monetary gain, just for edification purposes only. It's not for monetary gain. But before I get started, I'd like to get all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Kakadash. I'd like to get double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are the true leaders, the true teachers of the nation of Israel today. I want to say shalom to the men on down that's coming in the spirit of prophecy. I want to say shalom to the hopeful elect, Ya'akim, Ya'akwaf, that's coming back. It's calling on the true names of heaven and earth, Yahweh being the Father, Son, Yahushua. I want to say shalom. Like I said, I want to do the lesson centered around. It's basically centered around these holidays that our people caught up in, just following the ways of the so-called white man. That our people is still caught up in. They haven't come to they haven't realized that the so-called white man is their enemy. And everything he do, he calls our people to sin, to commit some kind of wickedness. And they don't have that understanding. But here it is, Yahweh Shema Shah, he raised up the prophets. And we tell him he raised up watchmen. That's they're telling our people the way. And that's starting off with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, on down to the least brother that's coming in the spirit of prophecy. We telling our people the way. We going into prophecy. We tell them that the so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speak of. Stop following his ways and traditions. But our people, they caught up in it. They've been bamboozled. They've been caught up in the traditions of men. And they can't let it go because they love this world. They of this world. But the elect, Lord willing, we those men and women, we not of this world. That's why we cast off the things of this world. And we putting on the ways of Yahweh Shema Shah. We starting to celebrate the holy days of the Bible. Hanukkah. We started keeping the Passover. The Feast of Dedication. Unleavened bread. We started to come back to the ways of our forefathers. But 2/3 of our people, they still following the ways of the so-called white man. So I'm going to play this video. I'm going to use this copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing non-profit education or personal use tips that balance in favor of fair use. So this I'm gonna play this video. It's not for monetary gain, just for edification purpose only. Cause 2/3 of our people, they still caught up in the ways. So lucky.
Claim these free games with Prime in November.
For the commercial.
Monday, October 12th.
2/3 of our people, they still caught up in the ways of the devil, man. They still keeping the customs of the heathen. And our people, they always did that. They always cast off Yahweh Shema Shah way, and they took the ways of the heathen, man.
Is Columbus Day, which we've celebrated in various parts of this country since the 18th century, even before it became a federal holiday back in 1937. And that's probably long enough. Because when you find out the actual facts of what Christopher Columbus did when he got to America, you're going to see that it's one of the darkest chapters in America's history. Now, I've got a lot of these facts, Jenks, so feel free to just cut me off when you want to interject. But first of all, let's start with something light. Columbus initiated the transatlantic slave trade in early February 1494, first sending several dozen enslaved Tainos, these are the native people of the island that he landed on, to Spain. Columbus described those he enslaved as well-made and of good intelligence. He ordered 1,600 of them rounded up and had 550 of the best males and females, according to one witness, Michel de Cuneo, chained and sent as slaves to Spain. Of the rest who were left, that person writes, the announcement went around that whoever wanted them could take as many as he pleased, and this was done. And understand that significant numbers of even those early slave deliveries ended up dying en route.
Okay, so let me come in there with a couple amazing things here. First of all, Columbus also described the natives that he ran into when he first discovered this land. If he discovered it, how come they were already there? Anyway, he said they were, quote, so full of love and without greed.
And that's a lot of these so-called white people, they tell. Talking about they discovered America. And here it is. You already had our brothers over here, man. The northern tribes, man. The 10 tribes. That's talked about in 2nd Esdras 13. But here it is, these devils. They'll tell you they discovered America. And that's all they do is rape, rob, lie, and murder, man. They the wicked that the Bible speak of. And our people, they keep the ways of the so-called white man. They don't do their history. They don't do no kind of research, but they just keep the ways of the heathen. Not knowing that these wicked holidays, right now dealing with so-called Thanksgiving, which we call the Thanksgiving, because that's what the devil did. He killed up majority of our brothers, man, the Northern Kingdom. He killed millions of the northern tribe, man, when he came over here. But our people, they celebrate it. They celebrate the downfall of their nation, man. That's why Yahweh Shema Shah is going to have to put 2/3 of our people down, man, because they the enemy right now. They're not coming in the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah. They side with the enemy.
And you would think like, oh, that's great. That's going to lead to good relations. He's like, no, idiots, he thought. They're so full of love without greed. It makes it super easy to enslave them, beat them, murder them, chop their hands off. Christopher Columbus, the original ISIS. We're going to get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Okay? And so he looked at their love and compassion as a weakness that he could exploit. Mm-hmm. This is the man we celebrate, right? And he says, you take the slaves and do what we want with them. Here's what they did with them according to the journals at the time. So this is history, and it's not somebody else said it about them. They said it themselves, right?
Most of the quotes you're going to see are taken from his personal...
Yeah, the scriptures say he going to make their tongue fall upon themselves, their own tongue fall upon themselves, meaning their own people. It's coming out, spilling the beans on these devils, man. Their own people. Tell them that they the wicked that the Bible speak of, man. They the wicked. These so-called white people, man, starting off with these elites.
Journals.
In the journals of Columbus and his men, they bragged about how they would break the native women, and that they would break their will to resist after rape after rape after rape, and then eventually they can get the women to do whatever they wanted because they had raped them so much.
Yeah.
Now this is the man we celebrate.
Yeah.
Right? So now look, when I was a kid...
Yeah, because these Americans, they celebrate their killers, man. And Christopher Columbus, he was a murderer. But here it is, they got a day called Christopher Columbus Day, where they glorify a murderer, a killer. And our people, they doing the same thing. They glorifying a murderer, a killer of their own people. So they the enemy right now. They the enemy of Yahweh Shema Shah. They not with us. That's why Yahweh Shema Shah gonna put them down, man.
I was told that Columbus discovered America. I knew that he hadn't discovered it because there were people there. Even as a kid, you could figure that out. But I got it. He discovered it from a European perspective. And at least, hey, the Europeans came here, we set up America, and we celebrated it, and I celebrated it. But when I grew up, I put childish things aside.
Right.
Okay, so now you want to take the blue pill, and you want to go back to thinking Christopher Columbus is a lovely guy. Understand that you're making an active choice to deny facts, history, and say, I'd like to be ignorant. That's what I would like to do, right? That's a choice you're making, okay? But now that I know the facts, well, obviously I changed my mind on Christopher Columbus because no one ever told me what the real facts were. You find out the real facts and you go, you would have to be a monster to want to celebrate this guy.
Yeah, they leave it out of the elementary school textbooks. But yeah, so we have more barbarity, but the fundamental facts, as you pointed out, he did not discover America. First of all, other Europeans had already been to America at that point, and as you point out, well over 100 million native people had already been living there. They had discovered it first, actually. They did not think that the world was flat at that point. They had not thought that for over 1,000 years, so he was not brave in being willing to go over the edge of the world. And he did not go in a mission of exploration at all. It was a commercial enterprise and a religious enterprise to find gold and to find slaves and to convert them where possible. Now, the initial slavery that we talked about proved to be unprofitable, but he later wrote, "Let us in the name of the Holy Trinity go on sending all the slaves that can be sold." So there you get both the religious and the commercial considerations in one sentence. When the slavery did not pay off, he turned to a tribute system, forcing every Taino of 14 or older to fill a hawk's bell with gold every 3 months. If successful, they were safe for another 3 months. If not, Columbus ordered that they be punished by having their hands chopped off, or they were chased down by attack dogs. As the Spanish priest Bartolomé de las Casas wrote, this tribute system was impossible and intolerable. They not only had their hands cut off, by the way, but they were forced to wear them around their neck on thongs. A little bit barbaric there.
Okay, now imagine if ISIS had cut off hands, which they do, right, from time to time. So does Saudi Arabia, by the way, one of our top allies. And then they made the kids, 15, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids, wear the hands around their neck. And then they said, well, I'm only chopping it off because you didn't give me enough money, enough gold, enough bribes, right? Yeah. And then then they rape the women. They do this to the kids, to all the adults. And then they sick dogs on them, rip their flesh from their body as we all watch. Now, we would rightfully call them monsters, the worst of the worst, right? Now, when Columbus does the same exact thing, we name a national holiday after him.
Yeah.
Again, if you didn't know, I didn't know either, right? It's okay. You're not a bad person. We were all told, hey, Columbus, hey, it was wonderful Italian, comes here, discovers America.
Explorer, brave,
all that stuff. It's okay. You didn't know. But now you know.
Yeah.
But now you know. You can't celebrate that guy.
Yeah. Now, there's more that they have to know, unfortunately. This is another section from Christopher Columbus's personal journal. He wrote, 100 castellanos are as easily obtained for a woman as for a farm, and it is very general, and there are plenty of dealers who go about looking for girls. Those from 9 to 10 are now in demand. So they had set up some sort of system of pimps and sexual slavery in the New World. Eventually, he went back to Europe and then returned with more men after saying that he could conquer all of the natives because they had so little experience with war that he needed just 50 men and so that he could govern them. On his second trip to the New World, he brought cannons and attack dogs. If a native resisted slavery, he would cut off a nose or an ear. If slaves tried to escape, he had them burned alive. Other times, he sent attack dogs to hunt them down, and the dogs would tear off the arms and legs of the screaming natives while they were still alive. If the Spaniards ran short of meat to feed the dogs, Arawak babies were killed for dog food. Additionally, and this is one of the sources for the information, we referenced him earlier, one of Columbus's men, Bartolomé de las Casas, was so mortified by Columbus's brutal atrocities against the native peoples that he quit working for Columbus and became a Catholic priest. In a single day, he was an eyewitness as the Spanish soldiers dismembered, beheaded, and raped 3,000 native people. Such inhumanities and barbarisms were committed in my sight as no age can parallel, he said. My eyes have seen these acts so foreign to human nature that now I tremble as I write. And the final toll for this barbarity, the slavery, the disease, the war, the killing, the torture, experts generally agree that before 1492, the population on the island of Hispaniola probably numbered above 3 million. Within 20 years of Spanish arrival, it was reduced to only 60,000. Within 50 years, not a single original native inhabitant could be found.
Wow.
Millions were killed as a result of the exploration, the discovery.
Wow.
And that's on one island, by the way. This was then spread throughout the region.
If that's not terrorism, what in the world is, right? I mean, that terrorism is so thorough, is after all the rapes and the beheadings and setting people on fire, they kill at first nearly everyone, and then eventually everyone. They kill everyone they see, okay? It's one thing to be ignorant, and that's actually something that plagues us all. We're all ignorant of different things, you know? I don't know particle physics, right? But and there's a lot you don't know and I don't know. That's okay. That's okay. If you're on a quest to learn, that's fantastic. That's exactly right. Right? We're all on a quest to learn. But once you know, then it's an easy decision. If after knowing this, and you know that the contemporaries wrote this is not some interpretation later. They wrote this in their journals, right? After you know it, and you still want to say that this is a good man because I don't care because he was white or he was Italian or he did it he's the founder of our country. I don't care. I don't care. If you don't care about this, you're really a terrible, terrible person.
Yeah.
And you still want to celebrate this guy. It would be like celebrating the leader of ISIS.
Yeah.
It really would. I mean, this is exactly what ISIS does. And he did it at a level that ISIS couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
And this is what our people is caught up in. This is what they celebrate. They celebrate the downfall of their own nation. They celebrate a murderer, a killer, the devil. And here it is. We try to bring forth the truth, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, and let them know that we don't supposed to celebrate these holidays because they wicked. They go against the scripture. Scripture tell us, matter of fact, I'm going to get it, because we don't supposed to follow this devil. Colossians 2:8. Because our people, they love to say tradition. It's tradition. It's tradition. My grandmother did it. My mother did it. Grandfather did it. That's all we know. But the scripture tells us, Colossians 2:8, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Mashiach. So Christopher Columbus Day, Thanksgiving, it's a tradition of men. Where these so-called white people, they celebrate a murderer, a killer. Here this devil came over here, killed up the natives. They took the land from the Native American Indians and put them in slavery. And this is what our people celebrate. This is what they caught up in, wickedness. The ways of the devil. And they don't want to turn back. Every time we tell them they don't supposed to celebrate it, they're going to say they're doing it for the kids. It's traditional, that's all we know. And you how about Shema Shah gonna put them to death, man, unless they repent. So we don't supposed to follow the traditions of men. But these devils talking about they discovered America. How can you discover something when people was already over here? Which was the Northern Kingdom. 2nd Esdras 13 and 40. 2nd Esdras 13 and 40. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whose Salmonelus, the king of the Syria, led away captive. Because the Northern Kingdom, they went into the Syrians. The Syrians took them captive, man. They went in, how about Shema Shah ran them out of Jerusalem. They were the first one that went in slavery. That diaspora. They were punished because the Northern Kingdom, they was sure enough caught up in idolatry. So they went into the Assyrian captivity. So they went into captivity too. They were the only the Negroes, one of the only ones that went into captivity, went into slavery. So the northern tribe, they went into slavery too. It says those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmonelus the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they will lead the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country, where never mankind dwelt. And they're talking about over here in America. It said that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they enter into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood, till they were passed over. it says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Azrath. So the real name of America, before these devils came over here and took it from our brothers, this land was called Azrath. But these devils took it and named it America. 46, then dwelt they there unto the latter time, and now when it says, and now when they should begin to come. But the main part is the northern tribe was over here first, man. The northern kingdom, they was over here. Then Christopher Columbus and these devils, they came over here and took the land from my brothers and named it America. That's what these devils do. They rape, rob, murder, kill, and take people resources, man. Take resources from other countries. That's all they know. And they will be paid back, man. Yahweh Shema Shah is gonna get that righteous recompense back from these devils, man. They getting ready to pay. Psalm 49 and verse 11. It says, their inward thought, talking about these so-called white people, this is how they think, man. Their inward thought is that their houses should continue forever, and their dwelling place to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Yeah, these devils rape, rob, and murder, take lands, and call the land after themselves. That's where you get America from a devil called America Vespucius. That's where America come from. But our people, they don't do their research. They just keep the ways of the heathen, man. But these devils, they gotta pay, man. You devils got a whole lot to pay for, man. You touch the apples of the Lord's eye. The apples of the Lord's eye. Hey, man, you devils finna pay, man. That's why you running scared. Deuteronomy 32 and 7. It says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. Yeah, and that's what's going on. Yahweh Shema Shah set up the prophets, the true watchmen, starting off with the apostles and elders of great millstone, on down to the least brother. It's coming in the spirit of prophecy. We starting to remember the years of many generations, going back to our forefathers, going back to what these devils did to the Israelites, the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Remember that these devils are our enemies, man. And these devils got to pay. They got a whole lot to pay for. This is Nahum 3 and verse 1. It says, woe to the bloody city. And we know that bloody city was talking about Israel back then, but now it's talking about Babylon the Great. It's twofold. This is a bloody city. It's built off of rape, rob, and murder. It's full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. Yeah, man, this all this place built off. Rape, rob, and murder, and lies, man. Deception. And Yahweh Shema Shah finna bring this place down, man. It's over with for you devils. This is Numbers. I ain't gonna make it too long. Numbers 35 and 33. Because these devils don't do nothing but rape, rob, and murder, and take other people's resources. Numbers 35 and 33. It says, so ye should not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defiles the land. So America is a defiled land, man, because it's built off rape, rob, and murder, and lies. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. So America can't be cleansed, man, because it's defiled. It was built off blood, off murder. But the one that shed it, their blood got to be shed. So you so-called white people, you Edomites of the Bible, hey man, you got a hell of a judgment coming. Scriptures say, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. You get ready to drink that cup, man, for all the rape, rob, murder, that you don't commit it against the children of Israel. Live it up. Your time is coming. You're going to drink that cup, man. And that cup is slavery. Coming from Yahweh Shema Shah. And that's why these devils in fear, man. Because they know judgment is coming. It's on their heels, man. You got chariots everywhere. You got the men of the Lord, the children of Israel standing up on their feet. You got all these nations coming against the so-called white man. Hey, man, your time is near, man. Your end is at hand. Ecclesiastes 3:15. It said, that which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been. And the Most High require that which is past. So Yahweh Shema Shah require all the atrocities that you committed against the nation of Israel. It ain't going to be turning the cheek, turn the other cheek. No, your blood got to be shed. You got to go in slavery. The scriptures say, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquities of their fathers. You got to go into captivity. You got to go into slavery. You got to be paid back, man. That righteous payment, that righteous judgment. So you ain't going to get away, Esau. Your time is at hand. That's why he's trying to come with this whole smear campaign. Trying to demonize the prophets, man, and the men of the Lord that's coming out with this true knowledge, understanding of the scriptures. Because he's trying to stop prophecy. He's trying to stop himself from going to slavery, but you can't stop it. Because everything is already written, man. You got to pay. It's time to drink that cup. Joel 3, I'm going to start at 1. It says, for behold, in those days, and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, the northern and the southern kingdom. Our captivity is at the end, man. We finna go home, man. We finna be delivered, Lord willing. We take part of this first. Take part of this on. We go out on this first. We get delivered out of this captivity, man. We trying to make it out on the first round, on this first trip. It says, I will also gather all nations, and I will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yehoshaphat, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Yeah, because these devils over there in our land, they parted it. Between the people you can't touch, the people you can't speak about, and the Palestinians, they parted our land. They over there claiming to be us. Calling themselves Israelis, Jewish. It says they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. And that's what these devils did, man. They sent gifts to one another for wine. And they gonna pay for it, man. These devils getting ready to pay. Verse 4, all you nations get ready to pay for the atrocity that you committed against the nation of Israel, the Negro, Latino, Native Americans. You've been confederate against the nation of Israel ever since Yahweh Shema Shah gave us into y'all hands, because y'all ain't doing it on y'all old screen. It was the will of Yahweh Shema Shah for disobedience, because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments. Yahweh Shema Shah gave us over to you devils. But you ain't show us no mercy. Scripture say you should have judgment without mercy, because you ain't show no mercy. You get ready to pay, devil. It said, Joel 3 and 4, it said, yea, and what ye have to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, you Hamites, you gonna pay too. In all the coasts of Palestine, will ye run to me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I turn your recompense upon your own head? Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. Yeah. You Hamites sold us out and gave us up to the so-called white man, that ye might remove them far from their border. Verse 7, behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. Yeah, you devils getting ready to pay. All you nations. Esau, you Hamites, you Ishmaelites, all you nations getting ready to pay. That put your hand on the apple of the Lord's eye, man. The Negro, Latino, Native American Indians. You got judgment coming. Verse 8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off. For the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, have spoken it. Yeah, you devils got to pay, man. You get ready to pay. Because you got a whole lot of blood on your hand, man, and you know it. That's why you running scared. That's why you're trying to demonize the prophet. You're trying to demonize the truth. But it ain't going to work. You get ready to go head first into slavery. This is Psalms 59. You devils, hey man, you better live it up, man. This is it. You won't rise up out of this one. It said, Psalm 59 and 2. I start at 1. It said, deliver me from my enemies. O my power, defend me from them that rise up against me. Yeah, these devils rising up against, trying to rise up against the men of the Lord, against the whole nation of Israel. But they really want the prophets, the one that's speaking the truth. It said, deliver me from the workers of iniquity and save me from bloody men. Yeah, these so-called white people. They bloody men. They the wicked. They violent. They love death, murder, robbery. That's all they about, man, because that's how Yahweh Shema Shah made them. To be the wicked. To be the sword. The harvest of death. But you get ready to pay, Esau. All you nations. You got a whole lot of blood on your hand. And Yahweh Shema Shah require that which is past, man. So with that, I hope lesson edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. I'd like to get all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem Kakadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone, who are the true teachers, the true leaders of the nation of Israel today. Shalom to the men on down that's coming, the spirit of prophecy, that's pushing their truth out of the four corners of the earth. I want to say keep pushing, keep believing, stay prayed up. We almost up out of here. Say shalom to the hopeful elect, Yaakami Yaakov that's coming back, that's calling on the true names. Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. I want to say keep pushing, keep believing, stay prayed up. We almost up out of here. I want to say shalom.